viewers, welcome to another edition of Realty Reality with Mohsin and Sid.
Today we have a very special guest in our studio. Last week also we got a lot of inquiries and a lot of concern from all of our viewers regarding the mortgage, because mortgage industry is such a huge industry. There are a lot of changes happening since last year. So we are trying to focus on all those issues, and we are also concerned about all those changes because it's really affecting the real estate market. So today we have a very special guest in the studio, which is Bobby Singh. Can you please introduce?
Yeah, Mr. Bobby Singh, and he's a very good friend of ours, and he's a specialist in mortgage. So when we look in a real estate transaction, we need like solid people working for you. One is a lawyer, one is a realtor, one is a mortgage specialist, and a home inspector. You need a mortgage specialist when you need a mortgage.
Right.
That's correct.
And that's when Mr. Bobby Singh comes into the picture. So, sir, can you please explain to us, like there have been a lot of changes, it's been so dynamic and all that, right? So, in beginning of this year, there was a lot of changes came into the market. So how did it affect the whole mortgage industry in general and real estate in particular?
Okay, well, first and foremost, thank you for having me on this show. And I'd like to say Assalamu alaikum, Sat Sri Akal, and hello to everyone. So I'll just go over the few of the things that have changed currently opposed to last year. So obviously we all know about the stress test, which is plus 2%, or the Bank of Canada rate, whichever one is higher, which has actually definitely decreased a lot of buying power with a lot of the consumers. And also the stress test applies to even if it's 20% down. Last year if it was a conventional mortgage with 20% down, you wouldn't have to go through the stress test.
Right.
Now it's applied to all mortgages, which has decreased the buying power of the consumers.
Right. Whenever we especially talk about mortgage, there is always A lender, B lender, and C lender comes into the picture. But
Right.
so many of our clients or so many of our friends, they really have difficulty in understanding who is A lender, who is B lender, and who is C lender. Can you please highlight a little bit about it?
Definitely, I could. Typically when we meet a client, we assess all the options for them. So when we look at the A lenders, it's the major banks and also the mono lenders. And mono lenders is typically lenders who will only specialize in mortgages, and they still have the competitive rates as the A lenders. So with the A lenders, we'll look at the credit score above 680. We'll look at the down payment. And with the B lenders, what tends to happen is some of the clients who have a little bit of a weaker credit score, they have some late payments. So with the B lender, you're able to secure them a loan, and for a short period of time, for say typically 1 to 2 years, which will help them get their credit score back in order. And then we have the private lenders as well, which is basically, for example, if somebody, last minute they have some mortgage issues, then we're able to go with the private lender, and then also we have the credit unions as well. So there's always options available once we take a look at the file and incomplete.
Correct. And
Right.
just adding on to that question of how many types of lenders are there, what is the kind of payback for the end user? Like, I mean, is there a different, you told us different ways of qualifying the buyers.
Right.
But at the same time, is there a difference in mortgage rate and stuff like that?
Yes. So definitely with the A lenders, you're going to get, you have the major banks, your interest rates are going to be lower. With the B lenders, of course, the interest rates are a little bit higher, but now you have to look at it with some of the consumers, they might not have the income to support going to an A lender. So then with the B banks, they do have a lot more relaxed guidelines.
Right.
Right.
Yes,
But in turn,
exactly.
they're paying a higher interest rate. Is that correct?
Exactly. So they would be paying typically a little bit higher interest rate. But then do remember that all mortgages with the B lenders are always insured.
Correct.
So you won't be paying the CMHC fees as well, which you typically may with the A lenders.
Right. So many times when I deal with the clients into real estate transaction, this one question always comes into the picture.
Right.
So the question is why you should go for a broker rather than a bank. So there are a few differences between bank when you go for a mortgage, and if you are dealing with a broker who is dealing with different lenders.
Right.
So what are the pros and cons?
Right, that's an excellent question. So in terms of if you just walk into a bank, you're going to be basically just dealing with the products that they have to offer at that particular branch with that institution. But once you come to a broker, we work pretty much with all the lenders across the board, A, B, private lenders, credit unions, and we could explore all those options. And also, once with a broker, you pull a credit report, it stays on file throughout, even if we're using it with different lenders.
Right.
With a bank, if you pull your credit report, say for example with bank X, but then once you go to bank B, they'll have to do it again. So that might affect your credit report as well. But obviously they both have their, their strengths and weaknesses.
Correct. And you are in a better position to judge which lender to go with, right? As because you have so many options in.
That's correct. That's
Right.
Okay, that brings to the next question. We always have the habit of looking at from the consumer's point of view. So sometimes I think that if we look from the bank's point of view, it makes it better.
Right.
So that people can know what to look for and what to put together in the deal. So from a mortgage lender's point of view, what do they look for in a deal like that?
Okay. So on, say for example, on a purchase, somebody went out and bought a $500,000 property, let's just say.
Right.
So the banks do look for the five, main things is the down payment.
Right.
What's the amount of the down payment? 5%, 10%, 20%. Also credit. I can't stress this enough. Credit is extremely important. We have a rule of thumb, basically. It's 2 + 2 + 2, which is 2 line of credits, so 2 credit cards for 2 years and no late payments for 2 years. That will qualify you as an A client.
Yeah.
So that's very important. Also income. So every lender uses different ratios to qualify you based on your income and the property value. So we want to make sure that the income supports the monthly mortgage debt and other payments as well.
Right.
Also is the property in itself. So we might have a property that might be an environment hazard. So the bank will also look at the property that you're securing in itself. So these 4 or 5 are the main points once processing a deal that the lenders look at very carefully.
Perfect.
Right,
Thank you. Well explained. And we'll have to take a short break. This is a very interesting discussion with Mr. Mohsin Sid. We'll keep it going after the short break. Thank you.
Thank you.
Toronto, get ready to be a part of the greatest, the magical, the glamorous, the most anticipated awards of the year. 6 Hum Awards, Saturday, 28th July 2018. Tickets available at Ticketmaster. For sponsorship, contact DML.
A criminal charge can be an ugly and nasty surprise. Don't let bad decisions or unfortunate circumstances take control of your life. The criminal lawyers at Alam Law Chambers will listen to your story and develop the best defense for you. Nothing in life is more important than your freedom. Reliable and affordable. Alam Law.
Are you looking for someone who can turn your dreams into reality? Whether it's real estate buying, selling or investment, Wasiuddin is the first choice of clients because no client or project is big or small for him. With years of experience, Wasi also offering exclusive deals on pre-construction projects and helping hundreds of clients to make their dream come true. So call Wasi at 416-566-3642 or log on to homesbywasi.com.
चॉकलेट चिप कुकी
अली
सिर्फ कुकी दूंगा, चॉकलेट चिप नहीं दूंगा। इसमें तो बहुत सारे चॉकलेट चिप हैं। एक सेकंड देता हूँ, अभी भी बहुत है।
अब भली बेचारा क्या करे, जब नए बिस्कॉनी चॉकलेट चिप कुकी में है बहुत ज्यादा चॉकलेट चिप्स, ऊपर भी चॉकलेट, अंदर भी चॉकलेट।
आपकी कुकी
बिस्कॉनी चॉकलेट चिप कुकीज बहुत 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 चॉकलेटी।
हर खुशी बिस्कॉनी।
An exclusive multi-designer studio specialized in wedding planning services, bridal wear, casual party wear, jewelry, shoes, purses, dupattas, men's and kids' clothes. You name it, we have it. Some of the Pakistani designer labels we carry are Sami K, Agha Noor, Sana Safinaz, Anas Abrar, Zainab Shutani, Wahaj Khan, Fatma Khan, and many more. Parahan, sheer elegance. We believe in quality service and best price.
You can contact 9075 Teddy Road West, Unit Number 1, Milton, Ontario.
मैं हूं जहांगीर खान, स्क्वाश कोर्ट का चैंपियन, लेकिन रियल एस्टेट इन्वेस्टमेंट का चैंपियन मोहम्मद कामरान हुसैन। मुझे उन पर यकीन है, आप भी करके देखिए।
जहांगीर खान और हजारों क्लाइंट्स का चहेता मोहम्मद कामरान हुसैन। रेजिडेंशियल प्रॉपर्टीज और इन्वेस्टमेंट्स दोनों के लिए ही सही मशवरा, सही फैसला। मकान जिसे आप अपना घर कहने में फख्र महसूस करेंगे। मोहम्मद कामरान हुसैन, 4163185264।
This is the world of internet. You have everything on your computer and mobile screen. If you wish to promote your business through internet, especially to perfect target market, then you have just one reliable name, NJ Marketing, offering various marketing solutions like social media marketing, telemarketing, email marketing, search engine optimization, graphic designing, web designing and development, and mobile application development. So call now at 647-824-1485 or email at njmarketing15@gmail.com or log on to njmarketing.ca.
रंग वाली भरम वाली न्यूज वाले व्यूज वाले खेल वाले मेल वाले कराची वाले खैबर वाले लाहौर वाले और पिंडी वाले इन शॉट पूरे पाकिस्तान वाले
Welcome back to the studio, viewers. We are continuing with our special discussion with our special guest today, Bobby Singh, related to all the mortgage-related issues. Mr. Bobby, so far we discussed regarding the basic stuff which are affecting to the actual mortgage application and how people can get a mortgage. There is one more question which is very important in this whole process, which is a difference between salarized and self-employed person. So if somebody is a salarized and the other person is a self-employed person, how the whole process is affecting the whole, affecting the difference between salarized and self-employed people?
Yes. So I could explain that in a little bit more depth here. So we have typically a lot of clients who are self-employed. They have their own trucking company, their own business. So in terms of that, also what happens is there's a cash component. So if somebody does renovations, they're collecting cash, and at the end of the year, they might not be able to show as much income on their returns. But the lenders do keep that in mind, and they understand that these typical business just have a cash component as well. So we're also able to make the lender understand based on, say, for example, even business activities, business financials, also backing it up with bank statements. So also in terms with salaried employed, it's pretty simple. If you're a salaried employee, you're making X amount of salary. But we do also keep in consider is some of the clients might be on overtime, or their salary varies. So the banks do give you a chance to be able to explain your whole situation.
Right.
In terms of how you're collecting the revenue for your business, or if you're an employee.
Okay, and just adding on to that question, say for example there is an A client, like A plus client who is salaried, and then there is an A plus client who is self-employed. Who gets a better mortgage rate?
I think they'll look at the whole package, whole picture. Sorry. For example, we'll also look at the down payment. We'll also look at the credit report. And in terms of rates, I think a lot of people have this misconception of that you're going to get a better rate opposed to XYZ. The banks typically have the same rate across the board, and it may vary very few. And the rates, if it's up by 0.10, it won't make that much of a difference on monthly on your monthly mortgage payment. Typically, if not $5 to $10, $15. I think clients really need to consider the lender itself, because if we just base our mortgage on rates, there's a lot of other options we don't look at. We don't look at what's the prepayment options, what's the penalty if you break the mortgage beforehand, right? So there's a lot of other options to look at while deciding which lender you want to go with as well.
Right. And as we say, as our elders have said over the generations, is if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Right? So what is the planning component when it comes to buying a house? Before we buy a house, what are the things that people should look at from a mortgage point of view that would help them in an easy transaction?
Right. I definitely recommend you definitely sit down with your mortgage agent or your bank officer to just go over the numbers, meaning to project what is your budget. So if you're looking for a typical property worth X amount of money, the banker or the mortgage agent will go over your income, your debt, what's the options, what are the figures looking at, and then can even issue you a pre-approval. So based on that pre-approval, which means is we've assessed your file and we're giving you the go-ahead to go for the property.
Okay, and that's imperative before we buy a house.
I strongly recommend that because there's been a few cases where clients will lose their deposit. As you're aware, once you buy a real estate property, you have to give X amount of money as a deposit, and then once you waive the conditions, the deal is firm. So, with a call mortgages, once we say yes, we'll stand by that. Once we assess your file.
Exactly. And Bobby, apart from this, if you talk about regular income, so many times people, they do have other incomes apart from their regular income. And so many of them, they do not really know about all those income, whether it can be a part of the whole contribution for the mortgage application, and how would it impact the whole overall process?
All right. So a lot of people tend to think it's whatever income they make based on their job or their business is what the lenders will use only to qualify, which is not the case, because lenders will look at your rental income. So say, for example, you own a house, and then you have an investment property which is rented out, and you have a lease agreement for it. So the lender will look at that lease agreement and typically use 50 or 80% of that rent towards if you want to buy a third property. So they'll use that actually as your income. So rental income is very important. Also, child tax benefits. So if you have a dependent under 18 years old, banks are able to use child tax benefits. Disability. So a lot of the older clients, they're on disability, or they might have old age, CPP. And one other income lenders typically will use is contribution family. And this is for the elderly clients who might have a son, daughter, family member living in the house who contributes to the house. So there are a lot of different ways we can use income to get you qualified for the deal.
Perfect. And next is a fun question.
Yes.
Okay. Like 55% of the Canadians factor in lottery winning in their retirement planning, right?
Right.
So the closest I have come to winning the jackpot is a free ticket.
Oh wow.
Okay. So going on with that, what is the 100K mortgage alliance sweepstakes that you're talking about?
Okay. Well, this is very exciting. So every year, for all the mortgage alliance clients across Ontario, they're put in a draw to win $100,000 if you've done a mortgage with Mortgage Alliance, if you used any of their products. It's free of charge, obviously. And
how frequent is the draw? Like, is it a yearly thing? Or?
Yeah, so it's yearly, and I believe it's live on social media once they draw your name. So you'll be entered for that draw.
Oh, perfect.
If your mortgage alliance client.
Okay.
Yeah, right. And one more thing, talking about the mortgage, there's so many times people, they want to go ahead with a mortgage, but they cannot because of so many debt consolidation and all those stuff they are going through.
Right.
How would it affect the situation if they are planning to go ahead and get a mortgage, but still they have some debt?
Right. So typically a lot of clients tend to do is refinance. So we all, or most clients do have credit card debt, other lines of credit at a higher interest rate.
Right.
So if you have equity in your property, let's say for example, your property is worth 500, 600,000, lenders will use a certain percentage,
right.
Let's say 80% of loan to value, and they will give you that loan and then obviously be able to make payments for your credit card. So if you have equity in your property, I strongly suggest you use that equity to pay off the lines of credits and the credit cards, because that interest rate is a lot higher than opposed to what you're going to get as a mortgage rate.
Right. So the consolidated payment will be way lesser than what you're paying individually, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And then it's one lump sum payment which is integrated with your mortgage payment as well, opposed to just making minimum payments on a line of credit or credit card and just letting the interest just go revolving.
Right. So we talked about this mortgage and how intricate it is and how important it is to get a specialist working for you. We have stressed before, we stress again that you need a licensed professional by your side, whether you're doing a mortgage or real estate, or if you need a lawyer, legal advice or anything. So Mr. Bobby, please explain to the viewers about your services and what is your area of expertise and where is your office and your phone number and everything, and how they can get in touch with you.
Definitely. So I work with Mortgage Alliance that call mortgages. We're at Traders Avenue, 120 Traders. I've been a mortgage agent for 4 years, full time now. So typically, it's not just a mortgage clients need help with. Sometimes it's a refinance, it's even business loans, line of credits, home equity line of credits. So it's anything and everything pretty much to do with the financials that we were able to help you with. Also, as you mentioned, it's always good to meet with a professional ahead of time, go over all your options so you make the right decision, from the get-go. If you have any questions or any concerns, you can always call me. My number is 647-271-2131, and I'd be happy to assist you.
Thank you, Mr. Bobby, for your time, and thank you, viewers, and we appreciate your feedback. Please write to us at therealtybulls@gmail.com, and my number is 647-892-1234. And Mohsin, would you like to add something here as we sign off?
I had a last question, which is just a recent change into the mortgage industry, which is introduced by the TD Bank.
Right.
I think day before yesterday, when TD Bank, they lowered their variable rate to 2.49%, and people are looking at so many effect of that change into the mortgage industry. Can you please, if you can just quickly mention on that one?
Yeah, so typically right now the prime rate is 3.45% with most lenders, and TD is the only one with 3.6. So interest rates varies why typically the lenders do it. It could be cost of lending. There's a lot of different variables that go behind that. Also, when the other lenders had changed their rates previously last year, TD had kept its down.
Right.
So just based on that, I wouldn't suggest you need to look too much into it. It's just the rates are going up with sometimes the cost of lending.
Right.
But other than that, I think the rates are still consistent, and we're still doing mortgages. And even though people are a little bit concerned with the stress test, but I think there's a lot more still options open for all the consumers.
Thank you so much, Bobby. Thank you so much for covering all the aspects of the mortgage industry. And guys, keep listening to us, keep watching us every single Friday at 7 p.m. on Realty Reality with Mohsin and Sid. Stay tuned.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.